So glad to have you with us on today's special session. We're going to be talking all about how to maximize your clients' SEO results with content syndication and signal amplification, which is kind of a new thing. It's kind of a new topic. And so I'm super excited to have Lynn and Matt with me today from Quantum Newswire. And we're just going to be sharing some really cool strategies and initiatives that can help you drive better results and better rankings for your clients. So say hi, Matt and Lane.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, glad to be here.
Every time I do one of these sessions, I like to start with like, what's the reason? What's the problem? You know, you don't sit on a training for the fun of it. You sit on it because there's a problem or a challenge that needs to be addressed, right? And we're facing some specific challenges in our agency that really brought this whole session about. And probably the biggest is sometimes the clients just don't get ranked. They don't get ranked for their main keyword. They don't get ranked for the GMB listings. And as internet marketing companies, as SEO agencies, we need to be able to consistently, reliably get our clients results. I don't know. I would love to hear like a yes in comments if you experience this. For one client, you'll set everything up right? You do the title tags, H1 tags, meta descriptions. You'll help them get reviews. You want to make sure they're in the city center. You'll drive some quality links. You'll drive some quality citations. And one client will shoot straight to the top, be on spot one, page one, but the same exact strategy for another client in another area, for whatever reason, just doesn't generate that same result. And that creates a problem, right? Because you can't produce the result. The client gets upset. You start to be like, I don't know what to do next. I'm not sure where to go from here. All right, so this isn't just me. I'm getting a bunch of yeps, yeses, yes, Sean, Anthony. Okay, so yes, this is why we're on this session, right? We want to solve for this. The other thing is, it can be hard to show tangible, ongoing activity. Like as agencies, we tend to get really good at the launch process, the launch part of what we do for our clients, right? Creating the pages, creating the the unique content, claiming their online directories, putting them in Yext or some other citation management platform. And a lot of work goes into the setup. And the setup, in a lot of cases, can kind of win the day, right? In a lot of cases, you do the setup right, and the client winds up ranking, getting the results, and you look like a hero. But there has to be more to it, right? You can't just set it and forget it. Your clients are paying you a monthly fee, usually let's say $1,000 to $3,000 per month for SEO specific services. And they're inevitably going to ask, like, what is it that you did for me last month, right? And you won't want to be judged based on activity. You don't want to be paid based on activity. But it's good to have an answer to that question when they say, what have you done for me lately? Posting comments, activity, if this comes up from time to time with clients, even when they're ranking on the first page, even when they're getting hundreds of leads and calls, they want to know, like, what is it that you've done for me? What's the impact? Yes, lots of like, what's the activity? So we need to have an answer for this. We need to be able to show them something specific on a monthly basis. Hey, here's what we did. Here's like what's happening as a function of it, and a very clear what's happening on an ongoing basis answer to that particular question. So a bunch of activities all the time. These clients want to know, like, what are you doing for me? And, for me, as someone that teaches agencies and does SEO, and we work with hundreds of plumbing and HVAC companies across the country at this point, you always, or at least I always have this fear that you're not doing enough, or you don't have a best-in-class strategy, right? So you're always trying to find the silver bullet. You're trying to find the secret ninja strategy that's going to somehow magically get your client ranked on the first page. And, when you've got this feeling in the back of your head that's like, I don't know if what I'm doing is in the best interest of the client. I don't know if this is the best thing I should be doing for my client. That can lead to a lack of confidence to retain the client. Because sometimes even if they're getting great results, even if they're ranking on the first page, even if they're getting a tremendous ROI, if you as the business owner don't have the confidence that what you're doing is best in class, then your team might not have the confidence. And even though they should absolutely stay with you, and even though they should absolutely be happy with the results, because you don't have the confidence, you can't properly project that to the client. Is it just me, or have some of you guys wondered, like maybe just type in their second guess, whether you feel like I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if I've got the full strategy completely fleshed out. We put a second guest in the comments. A bunch of no doubts. Oh yeah, a lot. Yep. We all second guess ourselves, right? So coming on sessions like this just helps to reinstate, I know what I'm doing. I've got all the right strategies, and maybe we'll pick up one or two nuggets of things that you can do better for your clients and get them better results. And ultimately, at the end of the day, as agencies, our biggest reason for being is to get our clients results, right? Is to get them ranked, but more importantly, to get their phones ringing and to get them a tangible, measurable return on investment. And if what we're doing doesn't provide that outcome, clients are going to cancel, right? And that's one of the most painful aspects of running an agency, right? We pour our heart and souls into getting the clients. We put ourselves out there as the experts, and they come to us and they believe in us and they've put their faith in us. And when they cancel, it's because we failed to deliver on our promises, or we failed to show the value that we can bring to the table. And so that's why I think this session today is so mission critical. Like, if we can't figure out how to get our clients ranked on a consistent basis, if we can't have the confidence that what we're doing is right, and if we can't be able to show them tangible, measurable activity, the clients aren't going to stick around, and ultimately your business is going to stagnate. And so that's really where I think the opportunity is, and that's what I'm excited about this session. We've changed some things in our agency over the last, I think it's like 5 or 6 months. I'm going to show you some case study data that has improved the results, has given us some of the answers to the activity question, and has absolutely helped with our client retention. And ultimately, the opportunity is we get our clients ranked really well for their main keyword organically on the Google Maps. We're able to show very clear ongoing strategy and activity. Like, we can jump on the monthly call with the client, talk about results, but also when they ask about activity, we can show them, look, here's what we did. Here's some new links we got. Here's where you got picked up by some of the news sources. Here's how your secondary and third level keywords are moving up in rankings. And you can feel confident that you're doing the right thing. You can feel good about what you're doing, and that confidence, that energy flows into every aspect of your business. It flows into your team being more capable of retaining. It flows into your ability to go out and confidently sell and position yourself as the expert, which ultimately is going to lead to success, right? It's going to lead to your clients getting results, knowing that you have the answers, and that you're able to really maximize your client retention rate. So if some of this stuff lands for you, post in comments. Like, if that sounds pretty good, I want to hear what you're most excited about as it relates to having a better ongoing strategy for your client. Somebody pop in comments. I want to make sure, we don't just ramble and we don't give you a chance to check in and kind of let us know what you're thinking. So Gloria is saying confidence. Don's saying, Don, great to have you with us. Predictability and SEO results for the clients. Knowing that the blueprint works, right? Absolutely, Mike. Rudy says confidence. Ryan says 100% agree. Awesome. All right, good. So this is what you guys came for. This is what you guys want to learn. And I'll just say, I did a webinar on this. I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago, Lane. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it was just unpacking this whole idea of changing the SEO strategy, being a little bit more aggressive with content syndication, and tapping into some new tools that can really help you show that activity. And I kind of put it out there. We changed our internal business processes based on it. And what I want to do now is just share some of the results that have followed as a result of this change. Post in comments if that would be cool to kind of see a couple of these real examples where it's not just hypothetical. Oh yeah, this Lane's going to show us some cool stuff, but like, we did it, and this is the actual result. All right, cool. You guys want to see real examples? Awesome. So let me do this. So you guys have access to this document. It's 7-figure agency SEO case study, right? Which will open up a Google Doc with real life case studies. So let me just pop this up real quick. So what we did was we took our challenge clients. How many of you guys have challenge clients where it's like you did the basic stuff that you do for everybody, and just for whatever reason, it didn't get them where they needed to be? Give me a yes if you've done that. Yeah. So we took those guys. We were like, all right, this whole news syndication thing, let's see if it helps. But let's not like take our best already ranked clients. Let's find the ones that aren't, the ones where we're struggling, and let's put them through the process. And so one example here is Fox & Sons. They're based in Vernon, British Columbia. So we do really well actually with our on-page optimization, right? Good website, properly optimized, title tags, H1 tags, good content unique throughout, pages for each of the services, pages for each of the cities. But that's the on-page, that's the setup stuff. Like we have to be doing things that move the needle off-page as well. And so we did what Lane's going to be showing you guys here using the tools that he's teaching on today's session. And I just want to show you, I'm going to show you their Bright Local ranking report. I'm going to run some searches. So like now if we type in Vernon, British Columbia, heating repair, Fox & Sons, right there. They moved up to maps. They moved up to the, to the second spot organically. I'm not going to bore you to death with a bunch of searches here, but just know that AC repair, heating repair is extremely competitive in a market like this. And they weren't in the top couple results, and now they are. And the Quantum Newswire stuff we're showing really impacted those results. And so if you look at this, over the period of time when we started doing it, they had 151 keywords move up and 352 keywords that weren't indexed get added to the search results. And so lots of their key, I mean, you guys are all familiar with Bright Local, lots of page one rankings here. So that's a pretty good indication that this stuff is working and it's having an impact. I'm not going to hit a dozen of these. I'm just going to hit a couple. The next one is this client we work with called Flow Plumbing in, where are they? Brentwood, California. Also pretty competitive market. Again, the foundational elements of this, great website, title tags, H1 tags, solid. But now we type in, Brentwood plumber, Flow Plumbing. I plan to like run a dozen searches here while we were watching, but I think you get the idea. You have this document, go through it. If nothing else, this should just give you confidence that this isn't pie in the sky. It's not like, okay, do some additional stuff off page. We did what we're about to show you, and our clients' results have improved significantly. Their call volumes have increased, and our retention as a company has improved. And so this is kind of awkward for me to show real client results, but like give me a helpful, just type helpful just for my own personal confidence level, if it's helpful to know that I've kind of vetted this and I know that it's actually working for our clients. Okay, cool. Good. Thank you guys for that little vote of confidence. So you have access to those, use them, also, use our sites as a point of reference, like how we structure them, title tags, H1 tags, meta description, content structuring. But what I want to do now is I want to hand it off to Lane to explain what we're doing from a content structure. Would it make sense if I show like what we're doing with our blogs here, or should we do that after?
Go ahead now. While you got it going, you got your screen shared. I think it'll be good.
Okay. So one of the biggest things we changed was we'd always done blogging, right? We would just blog to the client website, and we would spend a lot of time and energy on this. Like we write the content, we come up with a topic, we create the graphics, we put it up there. And those blog posts were just basically an activity metric. It was like, okay, we did a blog, who cares, right? It didn't get picked up in the index. It didn't drive any additional authority for their site. And so what Lane has built through Quantum Newswire is the ability to take what would typically be just a standard blog, really inject it with steroids and get it syndicated out on the local news, news sites, and create a lot of links and a lot of internal signals back for our clients. And so I'll just show you a couple examples, and Lane's going to get a lot more specific on this. But if we hit now, instead of just the blog, we've got this news section on the site. And so what happens is the same sort of blog written from a little bit different perspective also then gets picked up by these news sources. And the original source of the content is our clients. It's not like PR Newswire or Cision or one of these other press release sites. It's their actual website. So they're getting all of the authority. They're getting all of the juice. They're getting all of the benefit of that content being picked up on high authority news sites across the internet. So it's kind of an interesting play on the whole concept of press releases, but in a way to leverage your content you're already putting out. And so, there's one of their, what would have been a normal blogs picked up on hundreds of news sites with strategically placed links back to the client website and strategically placed GMB signals with an actual GMB, Lane can talk about it more specifically, GMB embed right on the post that's picked up on dozens and dozens of news sites. So do you want to fill anything in there, or should I kick it off to you now, Lane, and let you?
Yeah, that's a great segue. I think just showing how you implemented it into your workflow and process for everyone else will give them a good visual of it. Once you see one site, you can duplicate this on all client sites, which is exactly what Josh and his team did over the last 3 months. Was install the WordPress plugin on all the WordPress sites across each client, and then begin to replace that blog article with now, an article that gets distributed out to authoritative media sites and creates thousands and thousands of signals. Whereas before it was just a, kind of a static blog that maybe the client saw, maybe a few other people might see, but really didn't do a whole lot. So that replacement there, you can see the results kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, I'm going to stop the share and let you pick up from there. Is this helpful, guys, to see? So the last time we did this, it was just kind of like conceptual. Is it helpful to see like the real sites with how the news release is being added as a blog? Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to kick it back to you now. Lane's going to explain how this works and why it works, and why it's useful.
There you go. Perfect. I'll start sharing here. Tell me when you guys are seeing my screen.
We're seeing it.
All right, cool. I always hit that share button instead of the present. All right, Josh, thank you. First of all, really, did a great job just kind of explaining how you guys implemented it into your workflow. Appreciate the case study you did there too. That was really, really helpful. It's helpful for us too, just to see it objectively from somebody else who implemented it not just on one site or two sites. Those are great, but when you implement it the way you did across, all of your client campaigns and sites, and then get that metric, that's a whole different, vantage point, and then sharing that with everyone else too. So thank you for that. I appreciate that in the introduction. Everyone else, thank you for being here today. First of all, this isn't a sales pitch on Quantum Newswire. We're going to try and just give you guys a bunch of great information. How you choose to use it and implement it into your agency is completely up to you. Certainly, we've built a tool that Josh kind of referenced in Quantum Newswire, a solution that helped us really kind of get the same results, the same type of lift and efficiencies that Josh talked earlier in our own agency. And we're excited in late 2018 to start releasing it to our agency partners. I'll start here just quick, because where this comes from, much like Josh, it comes from our own digital agency that I started back in 2010. And our bread and butter for the better part of a decade has been websites and SEO, websites and local SEO largely, although there was some national SEO, some e-com SEO woven in there as well. But for the most part, the bread and butter, as Josh talked about, was just the same websites and less local SEO. If we added on PPC, Google ads, Facebook ads, that we did that as well. But the real bread and butter and the real profit drivers in our agency has been websites and SEO. In before Quantum Newswire, we used other software. Some of it I referred to as crapware, just things that just didn't work. But honestly, as Matt and I, we've delved deep into SEO for the better part of 8 to 9 years, and also saw just a lot of other software companies that we just got tired of giving them all the hints and the ideas of what to do, how to make it better. So we got to work to build our own solution. When we decided to build Quantum Newswire, we immediately decided we were going to build this for other agencies. If we're going to build it for our own, let's just build it for others as well. And then strategically, we've focused on building in advanced signaling strategies into the technology. We did not build this to be a press release software. It's not a press release software. We don't compete with press release softwares. We're completely different. This is a signaling technology. And I'm going to show you a little bit more in terms of kind of delving into that. But we built this for other agencies, like we built it for our own agency from the ground up, and we built it also with SEO automation in mind. You might be familiar with some of these other services that are out there. You may have used them, may have not. I know some people like, I've never even heard of press releases. What is that? Why would you use that for SEO? Other people have used it extensively, and some just kind of mildly here and there. Regardless of your usage, these are some of the other quasi-similar services that you might be familiar with, but we have some significant differences and departures from what is kind of the traditional press release software types of solutions that are out there. So the question, what can I use this for, right? Number one, you can satisfy Google's algorithms hunger for EAT. What is EAT? Stands for expertise, authority, and trust. And so you can use Quantum Newswire, and if you're not going to use a Quantum Newswire, what you certainly want to be doing in your local SEO campaigns or your organic SEO campaigns is you want to be looking to build the EAT profile of the entity, your client, right? So what is that EAT profile made up of? Expertise, authority, and trust. And so when it comes to establishing expertise, what you want to look for is quality, structured, and media-rich content. Googlebot loves media-rich content. When it crawls an article and it has links and it has images and it has videos, it has third-party links, it has link variants, that's a media-rich and a good structured type of content. And so I look at it as if you were a manual reviewer for Google and you went and you read a page of content, what would be your opinion of it? And so when I kind of look at it through that lens, and so we try to structure content in a certain way so that it looks like it's structured and that there's an expert who actually wrote this. So certainly always look for ways where you can structure your content. Joe talked about this at our last mastermind down in Miami about 3 weeks ago, just about structuring your content properly. And we actually have a rich text editor inside Quantum that allows you to structure your content in certain ways to produce on-page signals. Authority, well, how do you get authority? Well, you get published on authoritative sites, certainly the ABC, CBS's, Fox's of the world. That helps you build authority, but anywhere you can get your client's content published is going to help you build authority, especially if that publication of that content or the syndication of that content or the amplification of that content, whatever word you like to use, if that content, wherever it gets some traffic as well, even just a few hits of traffic, that's going to help to build authority because now that content is also getting some behavioral signals. Trust, you can pass trust with PageRank, with link signals. There's certainly some implied trust when you get published on authoritative sites, Forbes, wherever it might be. There's certainly association, for a lot of you who are niched, getting published, your client's content published even on the association sites, if they can get a guest post there. Those types of things pass trust. If you have a do follow link, you can pass PageRank. And so those are the things that can really help you build the EAT profile of a client. The EAT profile of an entity, your clients, is part of the algorithm. There are specific signals that Google's algorithm is looking for that all support the EAT profile and help build it. You can also use Quantum Newswire and other tools to generate authoritative signals. So what you want to be looking at in your agency as you do SEO, whether you outsource it or insource it, by the way, you want to look at it really from a standpoint of just generating signals. SEO at this highest level is all about signal generation. So the more types of signals that you can generate around your clients, their company, their entity, and their primary assets, which would be their website and their Google listing, the more signals you can generate around those two assets, the better you're going to do in your SEO outcomes. And so when we built Quantum Newswire, like I said, we built it from the ground up with the strategic outlook of how can we generate as many signals as is possible with one article of content. And so what are those? So these are some of the different ways that you can generate authoritative signals on Quantum Newswire. But regardless of, again, like I said, whether you use Quantum Newswire or you use other tools, look at it as signal generation and look at how can we holistically generate these signals in an ongoing type of monthly cycle, which is how we encourage it for those who are using Quantum. So going back in our agency, back to 2014, I think it was, when Moz came out with this pie chart, and it's evolved over the years. It really stuck with me, and this word signals just began to really kind of settle into how I looked at our SEO strategy. And so when Matt and I embarked on creating Quantum, we just looked at it like this pie chart and go, all right, Matt, when we take one article of content and we feed it into the Quantum engine, how can we generate more of these signals? And so it's different ways. We plugged in different strategy and technology into Quantum to help generate as many of these signals. So with one article of content in Quantum, you'll generate very authoritative, powerful GMB signals. You can produce link signals, both follow and no follow, or do follow and no follow. And also you can have good link variants. You can produce on-page signals, citation signals. You'll get behavioral signals with real live traffic and click-throughs from these authoritative media sites. And you can repurpose the live media site links into your social strategy and create really good social signals as well. This is, if you're familiar with this is a different way of looking at signal generation. And Search Engine Land puts this out each year as well. And I went through all their different signal categories in their periodic table of SEO factors and notated the different places or categories where if you feed content into Quantum, you'll fire off signals in these different categories. And it's the signal generation strategy at its core that is the result of better SEO outcomes.
How many of you guys have studied the ranking factors guide and the thing put out by David Min and all of these? Basically it's a compilation of experts saying what they think actually impacts rankings. I know I've poured through these reports for years. Danny's yes, Andy yes. Yeah. Students of the game. I mean, you guys are familiar with this stuff, right? It's just like, how do you give yourself and your clients the competitive advantage? Tom's for sure. Okay, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to...
Good. And please do as much as you need or feel is appropriate too. As Josh is talking about this, this was the challenge in our agency, was not only how do we do this for one client, right? But how do we repeat this every 30 days in a cycle to just continually drive rankings? And how do we do it efficiently, economically, so that we can actually scale our agency and not just grow? Because the way it was with SEO for a couple of years before we really, I'd say built out the strategy and kind of got it honed in, was that we would add more clients and then we would have to add more staff, and we'd add more clients and we'd have to add more staff. And it was just kind of the stair step. And it was really more what you call growth in our agency, but we didn't really scale because we didn't have the systems to efficiently reproduce this on a monthly basis. And so that's what we tried to solve as we kind of got to work on building Quantum Newswire. And, going back to the EAT profile, this is directly from Google's quality guidelines. So this is what they give to their manual reviewers. And they tell them literally, when you get to a page, look at the highlighted area, who is responsible for the main content. Find information about the website as well as the creator of the content. That's code word for author of the content, right? And so building the EAT profile of an entity is really at the core all about authorship, right? And so this is where it never made sense to me, all these other different quasi-similar press release services, we take our clients' content, which we would have our writers write for them, by the way, and then we would take that content and we would go put it on a press release platform. They take that content, go put it on their newsroom page or their website, and then distribute or syndicate it out, and then reference the source of that article being on their website, not our client's website. That was like a block for me. Like it didn't understand, it didn't compute. It certainly didn't fall in line with a best practice for authorship and what we've now come to know as an EAT profile of an entity. So we resolve that with our target site sourcing feature, which I'll go into in a second as well.
So just while you're pulling up those next couple of slides, who here does some type of press releases for their clients as part of your standard practice at this point? Well, one, if you do, two, if you don't. I'm just curious because I know for a long time, I always heard about press releases. I researched it, and I just didn't buy into it at all. I was like, we're going to get a bunch of nonsense, references that aren't going to improve our rankings. They're going to be sourced on these other sites. And until this, we weren't even really using it. And I can tell you now that done in this way, it does work extremely well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Lots of twos and ones. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. It's just curious to see where you guys were at.
So for how many of you guys, if you do local SEO, maybe put 5 in the chat box if you do local SEO.
Almost everybody here is local. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So this is important to know if you're in the local SEO game, especially because this is the part of the local SEO algorithm. These 3 components really drive, and so the signals that support these 3 categories of the local algorithm are really important to understand: proximity, relevance, and prominence. So proximity, well, how close is that Google listing to the person searching, right? And there's really not much you can do about proximity. You either have it or you don't, or you have a component of it. But what you can do to help produce proximity signals is use zip codes and geocoordinates in your content. So use zip codes and geocoordinates kind of wherever you feel like is appropriate. Sometimes it doesn't look really right to have zip codes in an article, but you can certainly put zip codes and geocoordinates in your image metadata, for example, right? So there's different places that you can use zip codes and geocoordinates, and that'll send off some type of some proximity signals for the local algorithm. The second one is relevance. So how relevant is the search term for the business? So Google is always looking for relevance between the site, the Google listing, and the search term. So optimize content and on-page signals. Josh talked about how important that is, right, in your overall SEO strategy. Make sure you nail your on-page signals on the client's website, because that's going to be a huge key indicator for the algorithm about what is the relevant topic that this website that should be matched with. So make sure you've got good content, good on-page signals, but then use your primary business category. A lot of people, I think, miss that. Like you have all these keywords and they forget, well, Google's got its own categories, right? And sometimes those business categories don't exactly match up to the keywords you'll find in your keyword research, but use that primary business category in your content as well. And then structured content. So your section headings, obviously your H2, H1, H2, H3 text, those are specific signals to Googlebot as it crawls, the content. And so that will also send off a signal of relevance, right, to the algorithm or to Googlebot as it crawls your content. So we really try to use section headings a lot in our content, also in Quantum Newswire. And then review velocity, niche citations also can also help with relevance. Prominence, this is all about authority. So this is where Quantum can really hits it out of the park in terms of building the prominence of sending prominence type signals to the algorithm, building the EAT profile. So authorship is really important here. There are specific things you can do around the authorship with your clients. So number one, how many of you guys put a 6 in the chat if you guys actually build out an authorship profile for someone at the business, like the owner or whoever it might be, right? Whoever wants to have their name out there, but are actually building a profile of an author at the client's business for your client. Put a 6 in chat if you are. If you're not, don't worry about it. I don't see many going in there. So this is something that you want to pay attention to because it will help support and the prominence of the local algorithm. So assign an author at the company who's going to be the actual individual authoring the content. And our plugin
usually, would you recommend that be the owner of the company usually, or the spokesperson?
Yes, and as many as people as possible. This is why I think sites like Indeed and Glassdoor have skyrocketed in the search rankings over the last couple of years. Google wants to identify and match individuals with entities, right? And so the more you can proactively match an individual with the entity under authorship, you're going to support prominence, and you're also going to give more validation. Think about it as from an authority standpoint. Google wants to find out the individuals. We want, because you can fake a lot of signals, but like I talked about at the mastermind, there are some signals that you can't fake. And so if you can tie an individual to a company, you're going to give more things for Googlebot to match in terms of authorship to that entity. So build out multiple authorship profiles, if not at least one.
Mike wants to know if you can make the company name the author.
I would not recommend that. You can certainly do that if you want to, just for ease of purposes. For maybe those more difficult or challenging campaigns, what Josh talked about, some of those campaigns where we just like, man, it's stuck. It's just stuck. These are the sort of things that you'd have to peel the layers of the onion away. And when you look at prominence, authorship is definitely a place to look if you haven't done anything in that respect in the past, especially for those campaigns where you feel like you're stuck and we need to kind of get some more boost. Look at building out an authorship profile, build the gravatar. So, when you go to WordPress.com, there's the gravatar.com, you can build out a profile on WordPress.com, and that avatar that you build out can have all sorts of links and other things associated with it. And then you can actually associate that gravatar right into your WordPress user.
So is that your recommended methodology for that?
Yes, especially again where you have cases where you need more, more juice. You need more oomph to get them into the rankings. You're just, again, some people might say that's a lot of extra work. Yeah, it might be in building out an authorship profile. But again, part of it's just set up. Once you kind of get it done and you have that authorship set up, then that every month when you create more content, that individual at the entity is the author of that content.
Yeah, Tom says he used to do it when it was Google Plus, and we used to do it when Google Plus lets you set up authorship and you could get the owner's face on the side.
So I think Matt and I have discussed this, and Matt, pipe in if you want to as well. But we saw a lot of SEOs when that authorship sort of thing just kind of, when Google stopped focusing it, took some of those featured snippets away. It was almost like the SEO community just stopped thinking about authorship. Authorship has never gone away. Google just changed it and kind of went a little bit more covert about it. Even in their guidelines, their EAT guidelines, notice how they said the creator of the content, not the author. This is their word, not mine, right? So authorship has never gone away. There's just ways to definitely execute it to help support prominence, which is a major component of the local, moving that GMB listing up in the map pack.
Got it. Don is asking how many authors you recommend for a typical local business.
The more the better, as long as they're real individuals, there. I mean, I would tie it to, because again, Google wants to cross-reference and match individuals to companies. That's going to help build authority, right? So it's a process. I would just start off with one, and then, as you have more, and certainly have a strategic talk with the company, the client about this, because they may have very specific people that they want to be kind of the spokesperson for the company. Some owners would rather remain kind of removed from the public eye. And so, have that talk with them and figure out who's the best person to really be that spokesperson or author or PR contact, if you will, as well. So.
Yeah, Danny's got some cool tips. Danny Barrera from Concrete Marketing Crew, great SEO guy, tremendous member. He seems very important. Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Gravatar, set them up on Crunchbase, like their individual profiles. Linking back as the owner of the company really builds that profile out well. Good tip.
Yep.
Danny.
Awesome tips, Danny. Great. You're dead on. Yep. And you can use all that, right? And then you link all that to that author profile. You link the author profile to your user on your WordPress site. And then if you're using the Quantum plugin, the new 1.8 legacy version or the new 2.0 version, both of them ask you to assign a default author in the plugin settings, because our plugin will automatically use that author profile for all the authorship components of what we do on our end. Nice. People will often ask, well, how is this different? I've used other PR or other link building services. So, Lane, Matt, what is the unique value proposition that you have at Quantum Newswire? Number one, we really we put this first because it's important. We only serve agencies. We are not a B2B competitor at Quantum Newswire. All the other services that we know will take in businesses and actually compete with you. Some of the services on one of those previous slides actually started sending emails to our clients when we were listing our clients and their email addresses as the PR contact. We quickly adjusted that before we had Quantum Newswire, but we don't want to underscore this. We really only serve agencies. We're not going to compete with you. We built it with agencies in mind, so the feature set and the way that it functions was built for agencies. Secondly, as a part of that, we're 100% private label. We're invisible in the distribution process. Even our plugin does not have Quantum Newswire on it, does not lead back to us. We were very sensitive as our own agency of trying to create something that was truly private label that our agencies could use, take the credit for, and just build better outcomes in their own client campaigns. The target site sourcing, it's a massive strategic shift from all the other services that are out there. The ability to take the content, source it wherever you choose, either through our WordPress plugin in a Quantum Newswire in an automated way, or manually if you have a Blogger blog, a HubSpot blog, a different CMS for your franchises you serve, whatever it might be, you take the content, put it on the source site first, the target site that you want to rank, and that has a significantly different shift in outcome in SEO. We also built this because we were an agency and we wanted efficiencies, we wanted as much automation, we wanted to reduce human workflow because that also reduces errors and increases predictability and fulfillment. We built the plugin to just help with automating on-page schema and publishing workflows. And then we also built that plugin for both agency news aggregator type functions, and then also with a different feature set for client sites. So when you get the plugin in Quantum Newswire, it has one feature set for the agency to create like a news aggregator on their own agency site or on any site that they choose, and a separate set of features on the plugin for client sites. Those features are turned on and off very simply through an API token or key. We also integrated GMB signals in that pie chart. GMB signals is the most important driver. It accounts for 25% of the ranking factors. And so we wanted to really hit that area of the pie chart hard. And so what we did is a live Google map integration. We're not even using embed code. This is truly a live Google map display with 3 distinct GMB signals, the PID, the CID link, and the Pearl link. We give those to you as well. You get do follow and no follow links. We have the permanent web archive feature, which immortalizes the content on the Wayback Machine. Every article that you produce on Quantum or distribute, our SaaS software automatically pings the Wayback Machine and gets the Wayback Machine to come crawl and render that page and create a permanent web archive of that article on the live media site, and so it forever immortalizes that content. We have an advanced text editor for superior SEO and visuals in the pickup sites. You can embed videos and images, no extra charge, where you have that on a lot of other different sites. And we have post-publish editing. So I don't know about you, but in our agency, at times we would make a mistake. You know, we're humans, we would make a mistake, and all of a sudden the client would be like, get an email, get that hated email, you know, like, hey, Lane, we just saw that article and it's got a spelling error or whatever, right? And you're like, oh no, you know, that's out on ABC and NBC. And with the other services, we were just stuck, or we'd have to pay about $100 fee to have it taken down. On our platform with this main channel, you can actually go in, and after publication, you can still go in and edit it, make your changes, resubmit, and once we approve those new submissions, that those changes get published out to the live media site. So if you've made a mistake, you can correct it after publication and make the client happy without having to take the article down and republish something. We have an AI press release builder coming soon in March. We have our signal reporting dashboard, which is actually live today. I'll actually debut it for you here in a few seconds. And we've got an authority signal boost add-on, which is coming here in March as well, which you'll be able to add on to produce thousands and thousands of extra supporting signals to support the main press release or article that was distributed. So, oh, and then we also have the voice search ecosystem. This was actually live in early 2019. We took it down, are doing some improvements, but we also have voice search ecosystem coming as well in the Q2. Anybody got questions? I don't want to just keep talking. Do we have any questions, Josh? Matt?
People have been popping in questions, and Matt's been doing a great job answering them really quick.
All right, awesome, great.
Is it helpful, guys? I mean, is this helpful to kind of see how this tool can help plug some gaps? Okay, cool. Yeah, we're getting some yeses. All right.
So this is the live agency account, and so for those of you who are already Quantum Newswire customers, when you log into your account today, now you'll see on your main dashboard this tab called Signals. And so the first thing you do is you'll just you'll choose an entity here. So we'll just choose this one. Oh, let me refresh. You'll choose an entity, and then you can actually dive into an actual. Give me a second, guys. I'm in the admin side, so I just gotta go back into an agency account. Okay. Yeah, you'll choose an entity or a company in your agency account first. And then, so let's pick this one here, and then you'll see the amount of signals here. Then you can actually pick one of the recent articles, and then you'll get a dive into the actual signals for this release, along with different components of signals that are being generated through this one article, right? So first of all, we've got link signals, we've got image signals, we've got media signals, map signals, and citation signals. All right, so signals, Raphael's asking, what are signals? Well, signals are what Googlebot is actually looking for. It's what Googlebot is actually quantifying. It's different components, we'll call them digital signals, that Googlebot will pick up on, right? So when it crawls any type of content, it's looking for links, it's looking for images, it's looking, and if it has no follow links, we have do follow links, it will find videos, right? And so all of those types of media and things are and in the underlying code, like that's what we do in on-page signals, right? We put in H1 tags or H2 tags, and those are all different signals that Googlebot finds, and it quantifies those, and it assigns those to an entity when it can actually associate those signals or that content with a defined entity, right? So signals are what Googlebot is looking for and quantifying, and oftentimes even scoring when it's determining the authority and where an entity or its website or GMB listing should show up inside the search rankings for any given keyword in any given geographic market, right? So these are the different types of signals, and this is the new signal reporting dashboard that helps you. Again, Josh talked about it early. How do we communicate what we're doing each month, right? What's the activity? What's really going on? And it really wasn't enough for us to say, well, here's the article that we wrote for you, and oh, here's some of the sites that we got. That's great, but now we can even go another level deeper and go, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, here's what these are the signals that we're generating around your company, around your website, around your Google listing on a monthly basis strategically, to help influence better SEO outcomes. You can, this is the first iteration. This literally went live, yesterday morning. Matt and team improved it today. We'll continue to improve this signal reporting dashboard over the next, many weeks and months. And so you'll have more and more functionality go live within the signal reporting dashboard. You'll be able to create a PDF of it coming soon. Right now, what I would recommend doing is just, you can create a screenshot of this with awesome screenshot or anything else. And, then you can just send off, this signal report directly to a client and say, here's what we did this last month.
Yeah, I'll just pop in. So kind of to connect the dots on this, right? We want to show the client better results, which is ultimately more leads and sales. We want to show them better metrics, which is better rankings, more traffic to the site. But the more technical client is going to be like, okay, but how many links did you get? What content got picked up? What things are you doing that are moving those other metrics? And that's where being able to say, look, we pushed out this news release that got picked up by these news sites. And if we run an Ahrefs report. Here's all the links that we added over the last month. That really solves a massive problem of like, what did you do for me? I think this new signal engine even takes it to the next level because I hadn't seen this before. It's like brand new stuff here. Very cool.
Yeah, but like I said, this went live yesterday morning, the first iteration of it. Matt and team will continue to improve it. They did an awesome job of this. I'm really excited about this because I want to be able to communicate the value to our clients. And the more you can provide them, the more it just solidifies and reduces that attrition or churn that we're all always fighting. Because once you acquire that client, you want to keep them. And this just helps, more accurately really describe what's going on beneath the surface. Because again, let me go out and look at this real quick here. I'll show you. So these images and these links are actually live too. So you can see the links that were in this release and, where they went. For instance, so this goes out to the client site. So you can actually link directly from that report out to the client site. Again, like Josh's site, you can see a news and media page. And, again, I don't have to repeat this because Josh already showed this, but
I think it's good.
Yeah, this is a release that was brought in through the WordPress plugin. Here you see again sectionized structured content with H1, H2, H3 type section headings, and then a sample of these distribution links with no follow links on the way out. So what we do is with that target site sourcing feature. Again, this is building the EAT profile, really making sure that the client's assets, the website, are the first place this content goes, because this is, once it goes to the client site right there, it's immortalized forever. That should be the first and permanent record of the content. But then once it goes out through Quantum and gets syndicated and distributed out, again, you can see down here, we're implicitly telling Google, hey, the original source is over here on the client's website. We go back out to the client's website. And again, this is what we're trying to create, this loop for Google to go in, crawl the content, see the content, and then no follow back out to the random sample of distribution sites. So you have reporting here for your client. Mr. Client, here's the content that we produced for you in the month of February, right? And also here's a random sample of the different places as our team works to get you published on different sites throughout the country. We're trying to build your prominence, position you as experts, not just here locally. We want national level, type of publications to help you really build the authority and distinguish you from your local competitors who aren't getting this type of coverage. And then add on now the Quantum Newswire signal reporting dash, where we can provide this to them as well and say, and by the way, here are all the supporting signals that are happening that are helping you actually produce better, do better in the rankings. So
good stuff. I'm gonna check in real quick. So Bob says, not an SEO guru, so I need to be better educated. This is a little bit more tech and advanced than we usually do, but it's mission critical, that you have the best strategies to get your clients ranked. So Bob, sorry if this is a little bit on the deeper side, but we're glad to fill in any gaps for you as we go. I think for the majority of the people, though, it's right. You guys are getting it. It's right where you want to be. Tom's asking, you'd still need Yext or something similar to like syndicate out the client's directors. Yes, that's a different type of syndication. You want lots of name, address, phone number references. You do that through Yext or SignUp or Vendasta or one of these tools. Quantum Newswire is more for like taking your blogging and getting that stuff like syndicated on the news sources, right, Lane?
It is, but we create citation signals with every article that gets released.
That, yeah.
Yep. So you have your authority listings, Google, Bing, Yahoo, the other authority listings, Yelp, and Yext does really good with helping you get those authority listings. And there's other services besides Yext, but you want those authority listings. But then you also want citation signals. Google will actually just see the occurrence of your business name, address, phone number, that NAP, right? And so you want good velocity in terms of your citation signals. And so that's one way we automate citation signals is every time you do an article and distribute it out through Quantum, you're going to create 40 to 50 new structured citations on autopilot every single time you publish with the name, address, phone number, and a do follow link to the client's website or homepage. in the footer, just above the live map display and just above the sourcing.
Yeah, so also Sean Denon, our rookie of the year, seven-figure agency rookie of the year, wrote, I've been using Quantum since launch, and one of our first clients has 2,400 signals now. Just check the dashboard and crushing it. Very cool. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited about the signal reporting dashboard. Just because it even helps me just go, all right, this is what's really happening. And I was going to kind of address Tom's question, like, well, this is kind of complicated and techy. We really tried to make this simple and easy when it comes to just the process and the workflow. With what our software does is it takes a lot of these complicated things and puts it into a 3-step process, and then the rest of it just is kind of on autopilot with what our technology is doing for you. So that's where we got efficiency, and why we created this was to take a lot of these manual or more techie types of processes that SEO can oftentimes involve and turn into a pretty simple workflow. So this is what it looks like to create a new, press release or article. It's a very simple 1, 2, 3-step process. Step 1, just go in here and choose your client company. If you need to add a new one on the fly, you just add a new one on the fly. This information that you put in here is used in schema markup by our software and by our plugins. So the more accurate this information is and the more complete it is, the better it is in terms of the schema markup that our software can do for you automatically. Again, some automation there in a best practice way. Matt and team have done a phenomenal job in terms of making that happen in an automated way on the WordPress site. The map is brought in automatically, and we're done with step 1. We hit continue. We go to step 2, and this is the guts of the article, the headline, the blog headline, our editor here, and I'll show you a couple of features about this editor and how we create even more signals versus a lot of the other systems that are out there for content marketing or press releases. So number 1, you'll see this image here, but this image isn't just dropped in here as an image. This image is actually coming in through a Google My Business post. You see the domain here where this image resides. It's googleusercontent.com. If I were to take this image and go out to it, just, you can see it. It's actually an image that's on a Google domain, but it's coming in from a Google My Business post. And so we went ahead and grabbed that GMB post image, and then we go ahead and bring it directly into the article here, so that what it looks like out on the live media sites is something like this, right? The image is out there. And again, this image right here is coming in from a GMB post. So we're automatically, with this image, now creating more GMB signals. We're creating an image signal, and we could actually even link this image out to the GMB listing or to the post itself by going and linking this and then creating a link signal as well. So you can see here, we've got this text here in H2. You can mark up your text with the different types of tags to sectionize your content and really make it better structure. Another image. And then you can see here, there's no embed code, right? But what happens on the live site is a live map display. So even in Quantum here, you don't have to even worry about embedding the map code. Again, we're trying to make it simple. Our software is doing all of that for you and bringing in a live map signal, right? So I want you to understand this is really powerful. There is no map embed code anywhere in the setup of this press release. The only place you see the map is on step 1, and we're bringing it in for you just for viewing purposes. And so you can grab the Google Maps CID link or Pearl link. But when it comes to execution on the live site, this map is showing up here through a live map API call. This is a very powerful, distinct GMB signal that's different from just pure embed code, right? So we're querying the map and bringing that map right into the live media sites. So it's a much different type of signal. Again, we want to really hit those signals in as many categories as is possible. So that's the reason why we execute it in that way. Step 2, and then step 3, you can drop in a few more images. You pick your channel for distribution, and you have the signal boost. This is going to be here available soon. Here you'll have the ability to check that off, and then this is where you check the sourcing. So we can either choose manually inserted, or if we have the plugin installed on that client's WordPress site, then we can choose, that the WordPress plugin for the sourcing feature. And then if we're using the WordPress plugin, then the content is automatically published to the WordPress site first by our software and the corresponding plugin. So when Josh and his team publish each month with the plugin, they don't even have to go to the WordPress site and manually create that blog post. They just come into Quantum, put the article in here, optimize it in here, go ahead and fill it all out, hit continue or publish, and then our SaaS and plugin take over, publish it to the WordPress site first so that it becomes the eternal source of that content. We pause for 24 hours and then distribute out to the network of media sites. We don't have to distribute out to a large number of sites. Right now, it's between 40 and 50 that the media sites that'll get picked up on. A lot of all the other PR sites brag about 300, 500, whatever. That's all duplicate content. So if it's not executed correctly, it can hurt you more than it'll help you, because it is duplicate content. That's why we have our strategic sourcing feature, because we want the content to be sourced and attributed to the client's website, nowhere else. And we don't want just a bunch of duplicate content out there without proper attribution. That can also have a negative consequence, right? So, and with our platform and the signal generation that is taking place, we only need 40 to 50 really high quality media sites to accomplish what you saw in Josh's case study and in plenty of other people who are also using our platform to get the results they're getting. What else we got? Any other questions?
Matt's been doing a really nice job answering most of the questions. Casey's asking whether this works internationally or if it only works in United States.
Great question. It works anywhere in the world. We have agencies using it from the UK, Australia, India, the Philippines, Ireland, Canada. I know we have one or two down in Central America somewhere. So yeah, I mean, the authority of these sites is pretty universal. They're recognized brands anywhere in the world. And so you can certainly pass the signals and the page rank and do all the signal generation for companies or clients anywhere in the world.
So Christian's asking, are there any best practices and training on how to use the platform? I know that you've got a knowledge base. We've got a whole section in this as a member for Seven Figure Agency, Christian, that shows kind of how we use it in our team, the link structure and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So up in the top right of your account, you have a little graduate hat icon. That's our knowledge base. And we've got a good catch-all as our video tutorials. And so we'll put in webinar replays. I have some shorter videos on optimizing your articles, how to use that image source, how to use the sourcing feature, how to use the image sourcing feature to create more GMB signals. So yeah, the knowledge base is where you can accomplish that. We do have an integrated ticket desk. You don't have to go out and get a separate Zendesk account or Freshdesk account. We have direct integrated support. If you ever need to add a ticket, you just go to the ticket center or support center and add your ticket in. And then over here in your company account or agency account, this is where you can add your companies. The web records feature is where you can toggle this off if you didn't want to use it. And then down here is where you download our WordPress plugin. We have a legacy version, which is allows for a little older version of WordPress and PHP. The new version of the plugin requires PHP 7.2 or higher and a newer version of WordPress. But so determining how your configuration is set up, the WordPress plugin, download here, and then you create your API tokens for the WordPress plugin in the API tab. If you want to activate your agency version of the plugin and activate the agency features, then you come up here and just activate the personal token and then install the same plugin on your agency site or news aggregator site and then activate it with this API token. And that turns the site, your agency site, into a true news aggregator. So as an example, here's an agency site with multiple types of clients there, and the press release is being aggregated here, right? So you can use that's using the agency version of the plugin.
Nick's asking how much it costs. I guess it's probably a good question.
Sure. Let's get into pricing real quick. All right. So, wait, wrong one. We have two components to pricing. So we are a SaaS software, and we're doing a lot, as you can see, a lot more than just the average content marketing service. You just put content in, hit published, or PR service. So we have platform access, which has a cost to it, and then we have platform credits. So as far as your agency platform access options, you have two. You either can join on a monthly subscription, like a normal SaaS software. Right now, we still have lifetime access charter memberships available. So you'll get both options today. And we did do some specials, and I'll explain that in a second. When it comes to credits, you're going to use credits in your account for the distribution of a content. So when you want to distribute content, if you have the article yourself, you just bring it into Quantum Newswire, like I showed you, create a new release, and then when you distribute, it's going to cost you 10 credits or $10, right, to distribute it out. And that goes out to all 40 to 50 sites. I say 40 to 50, it's a little over 50, but not every site every single time picks up the release. So you'll get, over 40, under 50 typically is what it comes out to. But that costs you $10 or 10 credits for all of those. If you want us to write it for you, meaning you want a completely outsourced, done for you type of service, Lane, have Quantum Newswire write it and distribute it for us, the writing is an additional 50 credits. So combined, it would be 60 if you want us to write it and distribute it for you. If you want to bring your own content in, it's only $10 or 10 credits. So as far as actual access goes, let me go right to the site here. It's at 7fa.quantumnewswire.net. And so, Josh, very graciously, we offered to just to compensate him for his time that he's taken. And he said, you know what, I want to pass on the commission to our agency partners and members. So you've got a big discount in here, both built in and also an extra bonus for those who are action takers and order by tomorrow night at midnight. So I'll go through first, before I go through the bonus, I'll go through the platinum options. Your two platinum options are lifetime access, right? So you never have a monthly subscription, and you can either do a one-time pay of $2,997. It's normally $34.97. We've had members recently just pay that, but because of Josh's discount, you're going to get $500 off that. If you want a payment plan on the lifetime access, we normally have an 8-pay. We dropped one of those payments. Now it's only 7 payments, so you still get the $500 off. So it'd be 7 payments of $500, and then you'll never have the monthly subscription. What comes with that is 500 credits added into your agency account immediately. And if you sign up by tomorrow night at midnight, we'll add in a bonus $500 in additional credits into your account. So you'll have a total of 1,000. And then with the Platinum Lifetime Access, you also get up to 100 client companies. It's normally 50 on our monthly, but for those who go into Lifetime, you get up to 100 client companies. 100 client companies means you can add 100 clients into your agency account and do article distributions for them. And if you need more, it's a one-time fee of $5 per client that you need to add in. That's a one-time payment of $5 per extra client. So if you need to add in, 100 extra clients because you have 200 clients, be a one-time payment of $500, and then you'd have that capacity. The reason that is because this is taking computing power with the WordPress plugin, the hosting of all these images, the signal reporting dashboard. We have real computing power. So on our lifetime access, we had to just, work that in. On the monthly access, you have two options. You either have a $250 per month with 125 credits, or you have a $125 per month with 65 credits. These are new plans, and we did this after talking to many of our members. People wanted to be able to do at least like 2 done-for-you articles each month. So at $250 per month with 125 credits, if you recall, for us to write it and distribute for you, it's 60 credits. That's enough for us to do 2 completely done-for-you articles with distribution with the credits that are included. On this one, it's enough for 1. So it's just basically half. However, if you sign up by tomorrow night on the Platinum monthly, the Platinum Pro monthly, we'll add 25 bonus credits per month into your monthly account. So you'll get 150 per month instead of 125. So for action takers who want to get going on it right away today or tomorrow, you'll get the bonus credits going into your account either one time or monthly, depending on which plan you sign up for. And that's pretty much the pricing. I'll answer questions if we've got anybody who's got questions on that.
Yeah, while the questions come in, I'll just say, if you do this professionally for your clients, right, and you want your clients to get the best results possible, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer tool, right? If they're paying you a monthly fee to do your SEO, and this can be one of the key things you do to really move the needle for them, it's kind of a no-brainer. You're welcome.
Yeah. Let's see here.
There's
David,
a couple questions.
Yeah, we'll get to your question on Signal Boost here. Let me just see if we got anything else here while I'm in on pricing. Any other questions on pricing? Oh, do the credits roll over? Yes, good question, John. Credits roll over. So credits never expire in your account. So if you don't use them 1 month, they just roll over. And if you go into the lifetime access, the 1 pay or the 7 pay, those credits get added into your account. And then once you use those credits, you just simply buy more, $1 for a credit. And you just add as many credits as you need on a monthly or however basis you need them. So on the monthly, same thing goes. If you need more than 125 credits because you're doing more distributions, you have more clients than what that'll actually do for you, then you just buy more credits. It's all it is. So what we are getting is the access fee to help us pay for the support, the innovation, the bandwidth, the computing power, all of that. And then the credits is really a pass through. You can see at $10 for the distribution, we are truly passing through our cost on that to all of our agency partners. You could not go to our distribution network source and actually get a cheaper price directly. And so we're removing even that. We're just saying, look, we've already done all the work with the software and the technology and the strategy, and we'll keep innovating on it. And we're going to pass through our actual cost of distributions through this network right through to our agency partners. Other questions?
There was a question here about how you would price this or position it for a client. I know for us, we just roll it in as core to what we do, and we're all looking for something we can say in the sales process and from a retention perspective that's different than anybody else. So for us, it's like, look, we've got this proprietary process where we push out not blog posts, but blog posts that get picked up and actually move the needle for your rankings. And so it's like a special sauce we can now offer to our clients. I know, Lane, you mentioned having a platform fee to your clients. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So say that again. Talked about what, Josh?
A platform fee, like how you charge some fee. That way they get a perceived value for just that plugin.
Yeah, great point. So we have it right here. A suggestion to monetize the plugin. Anytime we've done SEO, we have our proprietary set of plugins, premium plugins. And so this is part of your agency tool set. It's part of what comes along when you're a Quantum customer and when you install it on a client site. And so we suggest charging for it. I mean, you want to pay for your monthly access, just charge $10 to $25 a month to have the WordPress plugin and all the functionality and extra things it does for the website, the WordPress site. Just charge for it. That alone will more than pay for your access. It can make it a profit center. But the other piece of that, which I know is probably the next question, is, well, what happens if a client cancels, right? And that question comes up frequently. Well, you delete the plugin and all the content and all the images and everything else associated with that is removed from the site, right? So all of the links and the permanent web records, all of that footprint, that's kind of all removed. So you've got some real sticky factor, if you will, with you as an agency when you bring this is part of what you bring. And if the client releases you and decides to not have you be their SEO or their agency anymore, your proprietary tools go with you, not with them. And so you either delete the plugin and just take it with you, or if they kind of lock you out before you even have the chance to do it, all you do is go in the back end of your Quantum account and delete the API key, and it's game over.
I always think it's good to have some type of stickiness. We want to act on the best interest of our clients, right? Create good content, create a good website, do all of the work to get them ranked. But oftentimes they'll be like, I'm on page 1 now, I'm not sure what it is I need to continue to pay for. And it's good to be able to confidently say, well, you're paying to maintain all of the content we syndicated. You're paying to maintain all of those online listings. You're paying to maintain that hyper fast load speed that's on these websites. And, when you stop paying, we will hate to see you go, but we're going to make it as smooth a transition as possible. But when you stop paying, these tools will be disabled and your rankings will move back a little bit, right? And that should be the case because they're paying you for something there should be some kind of pain and disconnect when they cancel.
Yep. And Cody's got a great question too regarding, the content and the life cycle of the content. And then what happens, with it after the content expires. It's a great point. We didn't talk about it. So as is typical, if you've used any other, press release services, Cision or PR Newswire, Press Cable, Press Advantage and the like, the content gets flushed on day 31. There are a few places where they stay live for 60 days. I haven't seen anybody longer than that. On Quantum Newswire, number one, the content stays live for 120 days or up to 120 days. We're seeing it kind of between 90 and 120. But the question that Cody asked was, does it hurt to lose the links after they expire? So Cody, a couple of things that we did. We were aware of this, as it's one of the weaknesses of press releases, is that this content does get flushed at a certain point in time in the future. So number one, we wanted to accommodate for it by keeping it live longer. So we accommodate for that with 90 to 120 day live. The second way we strategically deal with this is with our permanent web archives feature. So what happens is these links here, for example, on day 121, or as soon as our crawlers find that these new sites have started to flush the content out, our software and our plugin communicate, and these links update and will then point out to the permanent web archive version of the story. Okay? So these links will automatically update and redirect out to the Wayback Machine version of the story once the content has been flushed. So that's number one. Then directly to your question, we have not seen any retraction of the rankings. While I can't tell you definitively why, the educated guess on that is because they're out there for longer than just like a quick 30-day cycle, a quick 30-day hit and done. They're out there for 60, 90, 120 days. That Googlebot's not coming back and recrawling that and then saying, oh, well, now it's a 404 error. But in practice and in real case studies, we've not seen a retraction or a falling in the rankings once the client's content does get flushed off these live media sites. But then we also deal with it with the permanent web archive version of it, and that loop is not broken when you're using our WordPress plugin. And then, see, Matt, do you have anything else you want to add on that component?
No, not specifically on that. Couple things I'll just add in. When we were looking at the Signal dashboard, just to kind of give you guys a heads up of some things that are going to be coming that are going to be amazing, because ultimately, reporting is one of the most important things you can do to maintain clients. When you do the hard work, whether it's just the manual labor or all of your efforts in terms of gaining the knowledge and the tools and all the intellectual property it takes for you guys to become, the expert consultant to your clients, reporting is just absolutely essential to client retention. Which is why we're putting so much emphasis on this dashboard. We're going to be adding in a place in the press releases for you to really communicate the targeted keywords, of which we're going to begin to communicate. And Josh is already doing this, internally. But we're gonna systematize this for you guys, so that you guys can track the ranking of the targeted keywords. So we're going to be providing an SEMrush integration right here into the dashboard. That'll be coming later on this year. So you guys can, in real time communicate. Now, presently, this is a dashboard. So someone asked about having a PURL or a private URL. We will be providing a private URL link that basically is a non-branded link that you guys can provide clients or embed into a WordPress site. And then you'll also be able to PDF these reports And then in the near future, you'll be able to manage sending out, links to reports. And that will include SEM rush ratings. One other thing while Lane's here, if you look at the image signals, we're going to provide you guys the ability to manage these individual signals. So for instance, the image, I don't know what everyone's familiarity is with image optimization. It used to be done a lot in the past, but the return on investment in terms of time used to not have good enough return. So we see that changing, especially with automation. And the enemy of SEO is automation. When Google sees automation, it tends to not give the value in terms of search. So our goal is everything that we do automate is to do it in such a way that it appears to be manual and organic and natural. Either the business is doing it, or their staff is doing it, or they're having an SEO firm do it. But the more that something looks organic, the better. And when it comes to image optimization, we're creating some processes that will allow you to optimize the images, to embed additional links within the images and additional SEO keywords and so forth, so that as we manage these SEO signals, it'll continue to improve over time. And that's the key. When I say manage, we keep these SEO signals active. There's probably not time to go any more detail. We can do that in a future discussion or chat that we're going to have. But just like servers, the connection between servers needs to be maintained active. That's a very proprietary process that we do, which is keeping the signals active. So I'll turn it back over to you, Lane.
Josh, anything you want to add? We got questions here.
Yeah, I want to answer the questions, and I want to make sure I wrap up with clarity for everybody, like what the next steps are, how they can implement this, whether they're with or without Quantum Newswire. So let's answer that, and then we'll wrap up with a nice tight bow.
So for those of you who want, I also put together a bunch of other SEO signal hacks into a kind of a Google Doc. So if you want that, you can go to seosignals.tips/GMB-hacks. Just authorize the Facebook for opt-in, and then you'll get the sheet there. And I've got a bunch of other hacks in there, just other ways you can create signals that have nothing to do with Quantum Newswire. So there's that there. Again, the page, if you want to go to it to look at your options, if you're interested in Quantum Newswire, 7fa.quantumnewswire.net. I know Ruslan had a question. Where is it? Lifetime eliminates the monthly subscription, but then we just pay for credits as needed. That's correct, Ruslan. What else we have here?
Would it work for a new agency in the UK?
Yes, it will. Absolutely. Like I said before, we have agencies on multiple in countries, continents using it and getting great results for their clients. The authority is there on these sites. They're global recognized brands. So yeah, it works just fine for SEO outside the US. John is asking, are the articles, are our writers US-based writers? Yes, they are. John, our team is in South Carolina, and we have all college graduates that are writers. So, if you want to, about 70% of our agencies bring in their own content. About 30% of them have us write it. We're happy either way. We're happy that we have really good quality content writing. And obviously our writers know our system, but if you have your own content, the platform works fantastically either way. And whether you have a WordPress site or you have a non-WordPress site, you'll still get the same SEO benefit with the sourcing feature. You just got to use one or the other depending on whether it's a WordPress site or not.
Lane, a couple people have asked about the slides, asking if they can get access to the slides. Is there a way?
I'll provide them to you, Josh, and then I'll let you kind of handle it and give it out to the group. Is that good?
What I'll do, guys, is I'll send an email afterwards with the replay video, the slides, the link to the case study, and of course the link if you guys decide you want to sign up, the link to register. Does that sound fair?
So Matt, can you just? I've had a couple of questions, and we'll I think maybe end with this. Josh, is that we've had a couple of questions asked about the authority signal boost, and really appreciate while Matt's kind of getting his mic back on here to explain that a little bit. David, thank you. He said the DFY writing is top-notch, 5-star quality. Writers are amazing and I highly recommend. Thank you. I appreciate that. David uses us a lot, so that's coming from a heavier user.
Yeah.
We really focus on quality content. That goes back to the EAT profile. Let's produce quality content for our clients and position them as experts. Matt, are you able to do a quick wrap up on what's coming with the Authority Signal Boost? Some of the people saw that in our live demo today. If not, if he's not available, then I guess we'll just wrap it up with that then.
He might have popped off. Let me share my screen because before you guys go, I want to hear from you in comments. What are the takeaways, right? The last thing I want, this was a very technical discussion around SEO and signals, but like, what can you take away from this session and implement in your agency? And Lane, if you could unshare, that way I can share my screen.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Yeah.
This was awesome. I really appreciate you sharing. I bring this to you guys because it's had an impact on our agency, right? We got to get our clients better results. We need to get them better rankings. And that ultimately leads to a better business, right? If we serve our clients better, we retain them better, we're going to sell more clients, we're going to retain more clients. And that's the whole reason I want to share this with you guys. And why I don't like to do a lot of affiliate type promos. And this is literally not an affiliate promo because I'm not taking a dime of affiliate. Whether you take this or not, I want you to have the information and know that these tools exist.
Also want to just give a shout out to Matt and our entire dev team. They've done a really, really amazing job with our platform. I don't know that we had even one day of downtime the entire first year on our platform. And that's almost unheard of, especially with new software. So just between the innovation and just the solid job that they do day to day to have a really good working software and platform and the WordPress plugin, really want to just thank them and give a hat tip to all of them for the job that they do as well.
Yeah, nice work, guys.
Yeah.
So if you leave the session with one thing, like to me, the big idea is to replace your blogging, because to me, a blog post is no longer sufficient, right? Just doing a blog or 2 blogs a month for your client and checking that activity box it's kind of productive. Like it's kind of a waste of time. Replace your blog with a fully syndicated post. That way you can multiply the effectiveness with almost the same effort, right? We would go through all of these gyrations to come up with topics for every one of our clients, to write a unique blog post for every single one of our clients. And then we would post it on their site and it would just basically sit there without any additional benefit. And so when I got this idea that Lane explained, I was like, well, we can take that same energy, just put it through Quantum Newswire and have it get picked up by all these news sources with links back to our websites, firing all of these signals. And it really has no incremental increase in effort, but an exponential increase in outcome for our clients. So like, if you don't take anything else away, I hope you get that. Like, take what you're doing from a blog. I think we're all doing blogging at some level and syndicate it out. The ongoing SEO strategy, we unpack this in depth in the members area. To us, this is core to the process now, right? You do the on-page stuff, you do the citation management and the reputation management stuff, and then you push out 1 to 2 news releases per month on Quantum Newswire, and you will see a lift in the rankings, and you'll see a lift in the conversations you can have with your clients because you're able to show them all the activity that's come out from it. So key action items, and we'll wrap up. And I know this went an hour and a half, which is probably longer than most of us anticipated, but key action items: sign up for a tool like Quantum Newswire. Ideally, Quantum Newswire, it's a great tool. It's what we use. It's producing great results. It has some unique properties that the other news release services don't. But use something, that way you're creating content that can build authority for your clients. Make sure that you set everything up correctly, get the plugins enabled, and then commit to push out at least 1 new syndicated post for your clients per month. And you will have leveraged this time effectively. You will have taken something that's going to move yourself, your business, and the results you provide for your clients forward. So that's the wrap. I appreciate you guys' undivided attention. Lane, I thank you for sharing this and for all the cool insights that you shared. If you have questions, let us know. Reach out to me in the Facebook group. Lane is in the Facebook group as well. So bounce ideas off of him as well. If you're coming to the Roadmap Live, Lane will be there next week. So you can also ask questions there as well.
Josh, thanks a bunch for hosting this. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you as a customer, and really appreciate everyone's time today. I know it's our time is valuable, and I know your time is valuable. So thank you for coming and giving attention. Hopefully you found a lot of value out of what you learned today, whether you use Quantum or not. And if there's anything I can do to help any of you guys, questions you have, just ping me in the group. I'll be happy to answer any questions and help you out.
So one last question. Karen, great to see you on here, by the way. She's asking, there's no additional charge to white label this, right?
No, it's no. It's out of the box. It was built for agencies, so it's all already private labeled. The Quantum Newswire is invisible for every agency. That's standard. There's no charge for that.
Gloria says she's on board lifetime. Glad to have you on board. I'm sure you're going to get great benefit from the tool.
Thanks, Gloria.
Excellent. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you, guys. I hope you got great value. Be sure to, in the group, ping, thank Lane for sharing this. Thank him for the cool insights. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks, John.
Tom's asking for the SEO Signals link. Can you pop that in there one more time as we?
Yeah, you bet. Doing it right now. You bet.
Excellent.
SEOsignals.tips/GMB/hacks. Signals.tips/GMB-hacks.
There you go. There it is.
We'll put that in the group too, Josh.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep, you bet. Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys.